Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update for June 19th, 2024. And if you were on the South Shore, it was a pretty nice day. If you were in Central Nassau, it was not quite as nice. So let's go over what we got going on right now. Temperatures are in the low 70s across most of Long Island. Yeah, we got low 70s pretty much. Even in Central Nassau, it looks like it's dropped down to the low 70s. Not in my neighborhood, though. Tell you that the alley is at 76 degrees right now, so yeah, not quite as cool. You can actually literally feel the temperature rising as you walk to my neighborhood from wherever else outside of it is. But temperatures generally in the low 70s. 72 at Islip, dew point 66. Farmingdale 73, dew point 66. So you get the idea. Long Island, luckily, avoiding it. But if you go into the city, they're still warm. LaGuardia 75. 77 in Central Park. So like I said, it's like I'm living in the middle of the city in my neighborhood. And let's see how it's doing in New Jersey. Also low 70s there. Of course, it was a pretty hot day in Jersey today. You can see, again, heat advisories in effect for the... we've got a number of things. Air quality alert. Looks like they might have... No, the air quality alert is in effect for us. I don't know why it's not showing up on the map here. But you can see heat advisory and excessive heat watch is possible for New Jersey. So let's go look at our highs for today. And you'll see the highs were popping up on the map here. Just like to be very slow. You can see Long Island again. Low 80s on Long Island. 82 at Islip for a high. 81 at West Hampton. 82 at Farmingdale. Of course, Central Nassau. Not quite as nice. We had 80, mid to maybe even some upper 80s. LaGuardia got up to 90. JFK was only 82. 87 at Central Park. And as you go inland, you can see Lower Hudson Valley, low 90s, as well as Jersey as well, low 90s again in Miller Air Park, 93 at Miller Air Park. However, the dew point is 64 right now. So the dew point's a little bit lower there. 88 for a high at Toms River. So closer to the shore, there was a breeze. You could see the barrier islands were only in the upper 70s as well. But inland, definitely pretty darn hot. And the heat, again, stretches all across the northeast again. We got that excessive heat warning in effect for much of New Hampshire. Look at this, mid 90s, mid and upper 90s. How about 99 in Sebago? Yeah, this is pretty hot. 97. Let's see if we can find some cities that we're familiar with here in Maine. 95 at Grand Lake. Looking for some of the cities like Woonsocket and whatnot here. Let's see. West Enfield, 95. Let's see if we can find Woonsocket on here. Oh, there's Millinocket. Or look at Millinocket. Of course, it just disappeared again. 97 for a high at Millinocket. And it's still 79 right there. Millinocket in Maine. These got to be like real crazy records being broken. And look at the heat going all the way up into Nova Scotia. 90 at Halifax. 90 even on Nova Scotia. 97 in Newfoundland. I mean, this is crazy kind of heat here. Well, in New Brunswick, I should say. Even in Newfoundland, 90 degrees. Even in the Labrador, we have temperatures of 90 degrees if you go inland. Right on the water is cooler, but I mean, this is how far north this heat is getting is pretty crazy, I gotta say. Pretty remarkable. It's actually hotter here than it is in Florida right now. If we look at the highs in Florida, they were in the mid to upper 80s. So it's actually cooler in Florida than it was in parts of the Northeast today. That's crazy. It just goes to show you how strong this ridge is. And look at that. Mount Washington got up to 70 degrees today. That's very warm for Mount Washington. Very, very warm. Very warm. I got a bunch of fans going in here because this place is not... AC starting to struggle a little bit. And it's going to struggle a lot more as it gets hotter and hotter because that alley, it just doesn't cool off. And again, I live with people who have no standards. They don't believe in putting their air conditioner on in this weather. So, anyway, you can see, I get an idea of how entrenched this heat is and how crazy it really is. Let's go to the lows. And lows, obviously nothing too remarkable here. upper 60s and low 70s, and mid 70s for lows in the city. I'm sure the alley will probably be in the same way. And even if you go up into Maine, not cooling off very much, even there is pretty crazy. It really, really is. So let's go to our climate statistics for today. At Islip, had a high of 82 and a low of 70, 6 degrees above normal. And Central Park had a high of 89 and a low of 72, 8 degrees above normal. And Newark had a high of 93 and a low of 72, 9 degrees above normal. Their high was 10 degrees above normal there. I'm kind of curious to see what records have been broken in Maine. You can see the air quality alert. That's going to be in effect for tomorrow. We got the heat advisory and the excessive heat warning in some of these areas. And I'm really curious what records have been broken in these at these weather services. Let's see if they've even mentioned it. Any records being broken here in these areas, but I'm sure that they have. We can actually go to the climate statistics there. Of course, they don't publish it because, again, they don't really want to minimize the ideas that somebody might actually talk about climate change, because we don't want to even bring it up, So let's go to our climate statistics here, see if we can find them, because, of course, on this, it is very hard to find. And yeah, text bulletins, maybe that's it. We can see if we can find some record event reports here. Maybe they have some of that. Yeah, their website looks completely different. So they don't, there's no standard. You think they'd be standardized, all the weather services. But let's see if we can find our, see if there are any records being broken here. Record event report. Yeah, let's go record event report here for Caribou. Let's see. Yeah. Record high temperature of 96 degrees was set at Caribou today. So, yeah, I'm sure all the records were either broken or tied. They're not really discussing it that much. But, again, this is like record heat for Maine. And I don't know what the hottest temperature is in Maine. We can actually go to Maine record heat and see if we can find if we've had. The city of Caribou saw a record of 103. That's the heat index. But it says, yeah, record heat. So this is record temperatures are affecting Maine right now. So you can see here that we've got here record temperatures expected as the heat scorching temperatures break records in Maine. Look at this. Portland Jetport. So, yeah, 90 degrees. 99 here are some more records that were broken. So, record heat. And I wonder if they're going to break monthly records as well. I don't know what this is just record breaking here. Record breaking kind of heat that we're dealing with across the Northeast. It really is. And it's only June. It's not technically not even summer until tomorrow. So that's crazy. So what else do we have going on the map today? All right, you can see we've got all these heat advisories going all throughout the Northeast into the Great Lakes, and then we've got the tropical situation going on right now. Tropical storm warnings in effect for the coast of Texas, and flash flood watches, flood warnings. They're already getting affected by this tropical storm, Alberto. So let's go and say hello to Tropical Storm Alberto, our first tropical storm of the season. Not very powerful, maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour. The main thing this is going to be mostly about is heavy rain, is what it's going to bring. A lot of heavy rain for Texas. So latest public advisory is heavy rains, coastal flooding, gusty winds forecast to continue along the coast of Texas and northeastern Mexico through Thursday, 7 p.m., its location 21.7 north, 95.6 west, about 150 miles east-southeast of Tampico, Mexico, and about 320 miles south-southeast of Brownsville, Texas. Maximum sustained winds at 40 miles an hour, minimum sunshine pressure 995 millibars to 9.39 inches. So we have tropical storm warnings in effect, and also flood warnings and even tornado watches due to this storm. So let's take a look at it on the on the satellite first. From Tropical Tidbits, here you go. This is what it looks like. You can actually see some decent convection. very disorganized, very messy system. Winds aren't going to be the thing with this. It's going to be the rainfall. And actually, considering it's been very dry in Mexico, this rainfall is actually very beneficial because they've had a number of wildfires. So this will actually help the situation over there, though it's going to cause a lot of flash flooding for sure. So that's that's Alberto satellite. Let's look at the satellite for our area, and you'll see that we did actually have some showers and thunderstorms pop up upstate. Just heat of the day stuff because it's just so hot and humid. And pretty much you could see that we've had maybe a little bit less haze in the air today. I still see some haze here. Clearly, you can clearly see it here looking at the kind of skies we had today. We did have a little bit less haze still at sunset. Looking at some of the cirrus here. And the moon is getting close to being full. So let's broaden this out. Look at the CONUS view here. And get a chance to look at Alberto as well. So this is Alberto right here. Pretty large swath of moisture right here. Very large swath of moisture. Look at all those showers and thunderstorms that are popping up along the coast of Texas there. And for us, you can see there's your ridge right here. You can see there's almost like a little bit of almost like a boundary popping up right here, which is kind of interesting, which could be a focus for some convection as well. You can see it did trigger some over here. That's like the boundary of the ridge. You got the ridge right here. You can clearly see the ridge right here. High pressure anchored off the Bermuda, but classic Bermuda high. And you can see, again, this is Alberto. Lots of precipitation with Alberto for sure. Let's look at the radar. Go ahead and look at the radar. So not too much going on right now. It's calmed down pretty much as far as the thunderstorm activity goes. But you can see all this moisture from Alberto. Some heavy showers and thunderstorms affecting southern to South Texas Gulf Coast. Houston's a little bit on the fringe of this. Mainly going to be south into Matamoros and Mexico. Coastal Mexico would see a lot of rain here. That's going to be falling here. It's actually going to be very beneficial because I know they've had a lot of fires. The question is, can this make it to New Mexico? That is the question. So let's go back to the satellite loop. And I did, yeah, right here it is. So let's go to the southwest and take a look and see what's going on with the wildfire situation there. Yeah, this is, so it looks like we have a new wildfire now over New Mexico. Yep. No, actually, that's Arizona. That's extreme eastern Arizona. We have a pretty big wildfire burning over there. And then we've had some showers and thunderstorms actually develop. Oh, look at that. Look at the outflow boundary on that. It almost looks like that's a dust storm right there, doesn't that? Yeah, that looks like a dust storm right there. If we can pause that right before the sun sets. Yeah, perfect. You can see here, yeah, this looks like a dust storm right here, an outflow boundary here. That's from these thunderstorms here that they develop. And, you know, something I think that perhaps these thunderstorms were aided by the wildfires, perhaps, that occurred over there. So if we go over to New Mexico, you'll see we've got some thunderstorms here that have popped up. If we look at the loop, you'll see we definitely have some thunderstorms that have popped up over New Mexico, causing some severe weather in some of these areas here. But will it bring rain to where it's needed, where those wildfires are burning? That is the question. If we look at our area, again, we'll just play the loop from our area. You'll see the activities pretty much died. Let me bring this back a little bit here. You can see the activities pretty much died down. These were heat of the day type of storms. They really didn't move that much. We can look at the Ventus sky as well and just rewind the radar to earlier, like 5 o'clock when these storms were more active. 6 o'clock, so you get an idea of what was going on here in Massachusetts with some, you know, decent-sized storms. They weren't really moving that much because these are like heat of the day type of storms here that we have. Let's go into New Mexico and see what's going on there with the... Oh, yeah, these storms look pretty bad. The question is, did they hit where those wildfires are burning? We got to find those cities, like Lincoln County and stuff. We got to find that area. Did those storms hit that area? I can actually pull up some observations, but that looks like a pretty nasty storm right there. The question is, did it hit over? Did it move over that area where they needed the rain? Because if it didn't, all it's going to do is kick up the winds. Those storms look pretty bad. Those storms look pretty bad. And you see they really weren't moving very much either. So it's really, I got to find out where these are exactly. In relation to, here's another one. Oh, here's Ruidoso. So it looks like there was a storm right by Ruidoso. This is where the wildfires are burning, right here. Let's see if it actually did wind up moving over them. It looks like it went north of town, so maybe some parts of the area. It looks like it might have actually gone over where some of the fires are burning, and maybe helped. It also may have been triggered by the fires. That's very possible, because if you go to 310, look at that, it's not there. So I have to wonder if that was actually triggered by the wildfires, that we actually had a pyrocumulus type of situation. I'm going to move this back a little more and see if we can actually... Sometimes I wonder if these were actually formed by the wildfires, perhaps, which is very unusual to see, but not exactly that rare, because the way these just popped up like that. And the only problem is that these create lightning, and the lightning can start new wildfires. That's always a concern that we have, is that we could see more wildfires from these lightning strikes, which definitely is a concern. Get that outflow boundary again. That's just crazy stuff right there. That's crazy. But anyway, let's go and look at some of the observations out of New Mexico here. Places like Ruidoso. And see what the weather is that they've gotten there. And you can see there have been some pretty strong wind gusts too with these storms. There's 54-mile-an-hour wind gust here near Alamogordo. That's high rolls, 54-mile-an-hour wind gusts there. So these storms have some pretty strong winds, which is not necessarily a good thing when you're dealing with these wildfires that we're dealing with here. You can see 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts at Dripping Springs. Like to find Ruidoso on here, and then we'll talk more about Long Island weather. I know we're kind of going across the country here, but we have a lot of major disasters going on, particularly with these wildfires that are going on in New Mexico, and I've been paying attention a lot to it, so got to find where. Yeah, some of these wind gusts are very strong. 61-mile-an-hour wind gusts, Dripping Springs. So yeah, we've had some very strong storms go through New Mexico. I'm just looking for Ruidoso. All right, so I know it's south of Albuquerque. All right, here's Lincoln County. All right, so this is where it is. You can see some pretty strong wind gusts here. And I'm just curious to see if they got any rain in Ruidoso. You know what we could do? We could just put precipitation to make our lives easier. Well, let's see if we've gotten any rainfall here. All right, so it looks like we do have 1.59 inches that have fallen over here. Of course, the shading is still too much. I can't really see the town labels. I'm just curious if Ruidoso got anything. Yeah, I don't really see a whole bunch of other numbers here. So the rainfall is very scattered. It's probably not going to help put out the fires that much. We'll just do this Ruidoso, and we'll find it this way to get the latest on Ruidoso here. They continue to burn. Evacuations. Now there's a flash flood emergency in the Ruidoso area. So, yeah, this is right where there are wildfires. So there's burn scars, and now it's causing flash flooding. Going from fires to flooding. That's pretty crazy. Also, a lot of power outages as well in New Mexico. 21,000 customers without power. A lot in Lincoln. You have some up in here. And this is, again, due to the storms and the wildfires affecting that area. So, yeah, what a mess. What a mess. And this, again, is Alberto. So let's go to the models now, and we'll look and talk about our weather, which is going to be a whole bunch of heat. So let's move this along here. And you see there is Alberto going into Mexico. Meanwhile, we have the high pressure over us. The heat builds. Friday is probably going to be the apex of it. You'll see some of that moisture tries to make it into New Mexico, though it's not really all that encouraging. It's going to be very scattered in nature. It's not really going to be, but, maybe some of that rain will be beneficial and fall over where there are wildfires just covering through the rest of the week. But you see for us that we have a lot of heat for our area and the Northeast. That will continue, though. You do notice that there is a backdoor cold front that's going to try to come into New England on Friday. So hopefully maybe at least parts of Maine and New Hampshire will get a break from the heat. I mean, it was 70 in Mount Washington. That's pretty crazy. So let's see how much rainfall this actually brings. We'll go to total accumulated precip here, and we'll show you how much rain falls over. So you see not a whole lot of rain for us through Friday. You'll see plenty of rain in southern Texas, anywhere from 6 inches to perhaps even some areas getting a foot of rain, maybe even more. But as far as New Mexico goes, some areas might see 1 to 2 inches of rain depending on where these storms form. Same thing for parts of Arizona. So we're getting a little moisture in. Hopefully it'll help the situation with the wildfires. Hopefully. But again, when you have those strong winds, it could actually cause things to get worse. So just pay attention to what it might, my community posts. I'll be sharing stuff about what's going on over there. But for us, you can see not a whole lot of rain for our area. We're not going to be dealing with any rain. So let's go to the latest HRRR model. And we will move this to the 0Z run. And we will go to the radar first and show you that, mostly that thunderstorm activity is going to stay to our north. There is a backdoor front, so that's going to help trigger it. But for us, you can see we're not going to see that much. It's later Friday, however, you'll notice it starts getting a little closer to our area. So I'll have to see, as we get into Saturday, that's when we'll see some more chances for showers and thunderstorms. Let's look at dew points and wind flow. Got more of that southwesterly flow tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be more of a southwesterly flow versus a south-southwesterly flow. So I think tomorrow will be warmer than today because of that, especially if you're in Central Nassau. I think Central Nassau should make it to 90 degrees tomorrow. And ice will probably make it to the mid-80s, perhaps. And if you're in Jersey, you'll have no problem getting above 90. It's, again, slightly lower dew points again. Again, perhaps maybe the showers and thunderstorms are causing a little bit of downward mixing, which is resulting in some lower dew points, perhaps. But this is fairly stagnant air. That's why we've got the air quality alert in effect. You stay with that west-southwest wind, and then Friday, we're going to have it again. Southwest wind starting west-southwest, and that's going to really heat things up. The humidity will also be worse on Friday as well. So looking at our temperatures, tonight we're not getting much below the 70 degrees. Tomorrow, it's going to get up well into the 90s. Jersey, the city should break 90. Central Park should break 90. Long Island, I really think, even though it's not showing it here, I think Central Nassau is going to make it to around 90 tomorrow. The North Shore, South Shore probably be, if you're right on the South Shore, probably just around 80. But if you're further out east, probably mid-80s. Jersey, you're going to probably be well into the mid-90s tomorrow. And then it won't really cool off that much for Thursday night. And then that sets the stage for an even hotter Friday. Mid to upper 80s, perhaps close to 100 in Jersey. Some areas in Jersey. Again, western Nassau County, I think you're going to see low 90s on Friday. Sea breezes are going to be limited to the South Shore or further out east in Suffolk County. That's what it looks like according to this anyway. It's going to be hot, sure, and I'm not looking forward to it one bit. We'll go to the GFS as well, show you what the GFS is showing. So here's the GFS for tomorrow, pretty similar to the HRRR as to what we're seeing. And again, the North Shore, Central Nassau, I think you're going to be dealing with 90s the next 2 days. Friday being the worst of it, obviously, as far as the heat goes in that area. Skies, we'll go back to the HRRR for that. I want to just look at some soundings. All right, HRRR. Just do some soundings. Do a sounding for 18Z over Long Island, and we'll probably have a lot of upper level jet chunk again. Cirrus, could be a hazy sky as well. With the air quality alert, though today on the South Shore, the sky wasn't that hazy. It was just a little bit hazy. It seemed like it was a little better than yesterday, actually. So that's what it looks like for tomorrow. I'll go to the GFS and Actually, I'll just go to the RGM to the skies. All right, we'll just do that already. So looking at the skies for tomorrow, you'll see again there'll be some scattered cirrus, jet chunk. Though more and really there'll be plenty of sun, so it shouldn't have an issue there. Yeah, there's some thin clouds over Jersey, but it shouldn't keep the temperatures from being able to climb. You'll have plenty of solar radiation. Friday, start off with more cirrus clouds, and then maybe a little bit later, and then maybe you'll start seeing some of that blow off from some of the storms that are up to the north Friday night. But again, I don't think they're going to make it in here. I think Friday night it should be dry. I think we'll have to worry about that more when the weekend comes, and I'll talk more about that tomorrow and Friday. But again, really, we're gonna have some real big time heat in our area. And again, Ventus Sky. Oh yeah, we already have. I've got Ventus Sky over here. This is again the vent radar rewind here. And you can see again. Look at that. That's just incredible. That's just really incredible seeing that outflow boundary just like that. These storms over New Mexico, and maybe the fires helped them a little bit. Well, at least it's generating some rain, but it's also generating a lot of lightning, which could cause more fires. You can see a lot of lightning strikes here. So anyway, let me move the Ventus Sky back to our area. And we'll just visualize the heat again for tomorrow with this. Gives us a somewhat better resolution than tropical tidbits. So moving into tomorrow. So peak heat of the day is going to be like 2 o'clock. You can see it's showing around 90. So I think it'll get around 90 tomorrow, Western Nassau. If you're on the South Shore, yeah, you'll have low 80s probably for highs. Even in Suffolk County, it's only having low to mid 80s. So again, if you want to avoid an area to avoid Central Nassau or the North Shore, especially New Jersey, you'll have temperatures up into the 90s again. But the difference Friday is that we get more of that, a little more of a westerly flow. It's not really showing it here, but we'll see if we wind up getting more of that westerly flow, which I think we will. I think Friday will wind up being the hottest day of the thing. Thunderstorm threat, not really a whole lot of Cape here. There's a little bit on the North Shore, perhaps. As we get toward Friday, we will have to watch for that, but I still think most of that activity is going to stay to the north again. We have a very, very, very strong ridge over us. I mean, if you look at the air pressures here, for instance, at Islip, air pressure is 30.34 inches. So it's a pretty strong ridge of high pressure that's over us, and that's going to suppress any shower or thunderstorm activity. So that's going to wrap up the Long Island weather update. Again, we got more heat to come. The worst is yet to come. Hasn't really been that bad, but it's going to start heating up, especially if you're not on the South Shore. It's yet another reason why you really need to be on the South Shore. That's all I can say. I got to be there. It's a matter of survival. But again, some people think I don't deserve to live there. Those are the people I have to keep fighting because the middle is too hot. Anyway, have a good night.